Welcome back to Scale Model Kit Review, and welcome back to another installment of the FanHome build, the Ghostbusters Ecto-1. I am on pack number 20, stages 71 through 74. We make big progress here. We work on those pesky hood hinges. I'll show you how to do those without breaking the springs. And we'll install the hood onto the main body frame and also the roof. Roof gets fully installed on the body frame. So we got a lot to do here, and I got a lot to show. If you haven't done so already, head over to FanHome and subscribe to this car today. Get it while you can. Let's get started. Welcome back to Scale Model Kit Review, and welcome back to another installment of the Build the Ghostbusters Ecto-1. And I originally started this with Eagle Moss, but now you can only get this from FanHome, and I'm super thankful that FanHome is providing this to me, and I can continue to show you my build for this fantastic car. If you haven't done so already, head over to FanHome and subscribe to this today. It is by far the largest car available in 1/8 scale. So issue 20 is here, and it is fantastic. We get to continue here with the build. I love it. I absolutely love every part of this. And we'll go ahead and look at the magazine here first. We have stages 71, 72, 73, and 74. So we'll skip through those build stages, and I'll show you those individually as we go along in this video. So the first article is about the Candyman, and that's fantastic there. And I'm pretty sure FanHome has been rebranding these magazines for you. This is from the Eagle Moss, and this is what theirs looks like. It may look a little bit different than you have through FanHome. Double impact. Mood slime. That's pretty cool. And Ecto 101 Cheech Marine. That's cool. Give us a preview of what's coming in issue 21, which I already have in hand. So let's go ahead and look at the parts. Stage 71, very large package. This was a large box that arrived with all these parts in it. And this would be the inner hood liner along with one of the hood hinges. Stage 72, the inner roof panel here, and another hood hinge. Stage 73, wow. And I'll take this out when I get to that stage, but this is the roof for the Ecto-1. And lastly, stage 74, the left fender and trim. Let's get started. And to begin this video, let's look at the parts we received with stage 71. And like I said, this is the hood liner and the hinge. These are all the parts that are included. Right hood hinge and lock and hood rim parts. And I'll go ahead and assemble all these components using the screws provided. I'll also use Vaseline as a lubrication point for these because it will last longer than regular oil. And the spring here, we will install it not extended like that, but retracted. So make sure your hood hinge is retracted fully, and you can install the spring a lot easier. Also, that spring is very fragile. It's been known to break on other builders. Then we'll install the hood inner frame, the hood latch, and the hood trim. And lastly, install the hinge on the left side of the hood. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. Here's the parts for stage 71. I'll go ahead and take these out, we'll get a closer look. Here's all the parts, and here's the hood trim. Gets mounted on the inside. This is made of plastic. Very nice there. The hood latch mechanism, there's two parts for that, and both of those are made of plastic. AP, BM, EP, QM, RM, and SM screws. Let's get a closer look at the hood hinge. And these hood hinge parts are all made of metal. Very nice finish on them. And especially the gear ones here that gear together. Very nice. Everything's metal, and here's your spring. And like I was saying, the spring is very fragile. They've had the end piece break off on people, so we'll make sure we install this when the hinge is fully retracted and not extended. I'll go ahead and start with the hood hinge mechanism. I'm going to grab this part right here, which is like the mounting base for the hinge, and make sure that this part right here takes the part of the bracket that has the gears on it, and everything is marked with an R. And I did lubricate the holes with some Vaseline. These are going to be BM screw that goes into this. Just snug. That's good there. That's how that looks there. Just like that. And then the next one is going to go on just like that on top. Back it off a little. There we go. Then we're going to take the next one here, and that's going to go on top like that. We're also going to put a BM screw into that. That's good there. And that's how that looks. Need to figure out how this goes. This is going to go just like that. I'm going to use a longer QM screw for this. Insert it through that bracket first, and then through the gear. We won't tighten it all the way, make sure it's a little loose. And that's good. Some more Vaseline on this. And put those gear together just like you see there. Line up the lines. Let's see. Looks like right there. And you can see there's a line there, right there and right there. Make sure they're lined up. Make sure everything's greased up here. Move this over. Once that the lines are lined up, we're going to move this bracket over. Line that up to the hole. And the QM screw goes into that, securing everything together. Leave it loose a little. And everything is screwed together. That's how that looks on both sides. Now it will just actuate open, just like that. And we want to put this bracket and this bracket closer together for the spring, because if it's shut, it's stretching that spring out, and we don't want it stretched. Easier to install with the brackets closer together for the spring. So we'll take and you can see that, and it shouldn't take much force at all to get it around the other one. There we go. The spring is on there, and we did that without breaking it. And that's how it looks up close. I've taken and lubricated all the gears. That's good there. Okay, it's good. Alright, I brought over a towel to put the hood on so we don't scratch it. Gonna flip the hood over. Gonna go ahead and put on this liner, and we're gonna put in, looks like 9 screws, and they'll go on all the holes that are here. Very small SM screws. These screws are countersunk. I did put a little bit of 3-in-1 oil on them. And all 9 screws are in. They look great. Now I'm going to go ahead and put on the hood latch mechanism. Hood latch mounts down on that. And we're just going to put in 3 EP screws for that. That's what that looks like. EP screw here. Going into plastic. That's good there. And that's the 3 EP screws that went into that. Next we're going to put the hood release mechanism. That's going to go on the other hole, and that's going to get put down with an AP screw. And that's good there. Now we're going to go ahead and put on the hood trim. Here's our hood trim we received from stage 1, and that's going to mount down right on top of those points right there. EP screws go into these. They go into plastic, so no oil is required. That's how that looks. Looks good. Move it over here to the left side of the hood. Hood hinge is already opened up. Goes like that on top, just like that on top. RM screw goes into that, has a flange. Tighten it down here. Tighten that down. Notice I had to put the screwdriver through the hinge. And it's tight, good. And there you go, everything's installed, everything works. That completes stage 71. Let's head over and work on stage 72. Next, work on stage 72. This is where I'll assemble the left hood hinge and the inner roof. Here's the parts. Left hood hinge. And just like before, I'll assemble these just like the other side, lubricating with some Vaseline. Continuing there. Make sure the hinge is opened up all the way. We'll put the spring on and then we'll mount it to the hood. Then we'll take the hood and mount that to the car frame. That's all we'll do. Let me get the parts. I'll be right back. Here's the parts for stage 72. Inner hood frame and the hinges for the left side. Let's get a closer look. Here's a close-up of those parts. All the parts for the left hood hinge, they all have an L marked onto them, and they're all metal. You saw those in the previous stage. BM, DM, QM, and RM screws. And here's that inner roof panel made of metal. I assembled the hinge here as per the instructions, and it's just like I did in stage 71, so I'm not going to show you that again. Just remember to put the spring on as it's fully open, because the points here, 2 points here, are the closest together at that point. And then of course when the hood is down, then of course the hinge is spread out just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and mount this to the hood. And the hood hinge is installed. I used the QM screws for that. And you can see the hinge functions like it should. Very nice. Both sides work. Now we're going to mount this to the body frame. Brought over the body frame and the hood here. I went ahead and taped the hinges closed with some Tamiya tape. And what we have to do is we have to slide these two tabs under all the way back and make sure everything is inserted like it should be. Then we'll turn this over. Put 2 screws in, the DM screws. And one on this side. And both back ones are in, but they're loose. Put the front ones in. Yeah, the tape did come loose here, but that's okay. I got everything started. That's good there. I can go ahead and pull my tape off. All 4 screws are tight now, holding the hood in. I'll go ahead and turn it around. And just the weight alone of the hood keeps the hood down, but it does function like it should. That is very nice. Give you a side view. Nice. I'll be right back. And again, without any obstructions around it, just to show you how the hood works. Works great. Just as advertised. That is great. That's all I do with stage 72. Let's head over and do stage 73. Let's look at the build instructions for stage 73. This time I'll be assembling the inner roof, and the roof hatch will be fitted. Here's the parts. Inner roof, that's the location. Will fit the inner hatch mechanism. That just gets screwed in. And we'll mount the inner roof, put in a bunch of EM screws into this. That's what that will look like. Let me get the parts, I'll be right back. And here's the parts protected in this brown box. Take it out. Everything protected in this pack here. Take the cover off. Very large. We did receive a screwdriver, and the roof itself made of metal. Very nice. And some screws, EM screws, and another screwdriver. Let's get started. And bring over the roof. We're going to go ahead and put the inner panel on. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over. And that should simply just go down on top. Just like that. Now, it does have an arrow, so we need to make sure the arrow is going forward. And that is correct. I'll show you the arrow. Can you see it? There you go. And it's going forward. And lots of EM screws go into this, 6 of them. Put a little oil on them. And they are all installed. Took a little brute force to get them in there. Get them all started first and then tighten them all down. That's the best thing I can tell you on that. And that's how that looks. Now we're going to go ahead and mount this roof panel to the body frame. And here's an overall view of the roof. We're going to mount that to the top of the Ecto-1 body frame. And that's simply just going to go down on top. Just like that. And we'll put screws in on the back, on the underside. Just need to flip it over. I'm going to go ahead and put in 10 EM screws, 5 on each side. The first one goes in this corner here. I've got it started. I'll put one on the other corner next. Show you where all the screws went in. One right there. One right there. 2 right there. One on the back corner. It'll be the same on the other side. And the roof is fully installed. That's fantastic looking, I think. I did not use any oil on the screws because I wanted them to have a really good bite of the metal, and which they did. That completes stage 73 Let's head over and do the final stage for this build, stage 74.
Everything is alright, but I keep seeing ghosts in the daylight.
Let's look at the build instructions for 74, which is the final stage for this pack. And we received the front left fender and associated parts. This is going to be an easy stage to build. Front left fender plating and wire covers. That's the location. We're going to put the plating on the fender there. We're going to mount the wire covers to the inner frame member. And that's it. Let me get the parts. I'll be right back. Here's the parts for 74. I'll take this out. We'll get a closer look. EM, BM screws. Here's our fender. It looks great. Of course, we have lots of trim to add to this a little bit later, but right now we're going to add the trim to the wheel well. And of course, this is made of metal. Very nice. Here's our trim piece, which is made of plastic. Nice chrome plating. And our wire retainers. We're going to mount those on the inner frame. Let's get started. And I put the towel down once again to protect the fender. I'm going to put the inner chrome piece, and it's just going to mount down on 3 tabs just like that. 3 BM screws go into this. That's good there. All 3 screws are in, and that's what the chrome piece looks like. Looks great. I'm going to bring over the inner frame. We're going to mount these on the inner frame. These are the wire retainers. I'll be right back with that. The other wire retainer goes right here. I'm going to go ahead and get the screw started first. And I'll slide the retainer against it. Just like that. And tighten that down. And there you go. Both retainers are installed. The other one's over here. And that completes issue 20. Had a blast building this. Got the hinges in with no error whatsoever. And if you followed what I did in stage 71, you'll have no problems whatsoever. I'm just test fitting the fender on right now, but we have the full roof installed on Ecto-1. I must say it looks fantastic. Wow, very impressed. So if you think you'd like to get this for yourself, head over to FanHome and subscribe to the Ecto-1 today. It is by far the biggest car kit out there on the market. Besides the London bus, I totally forgot about that, but that's a bus, that's not a car, right? This is a car, so I would say this is the largest car out there, like I've always been saying. Head over to FanHome and subscribe to this today. If you like my content, please subscribe to my channel and smash that like button. Happy modeling, everybody, and take care.